What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Amateurs Podcast. Today, we are going to have our trade deadline episode. There was a ton of players on the move this trade deadline. So, I'm your host, Logan, my co-host.
Rhett.
He is going to be giving me five winners and five losers, and we are going to debate it out whether I agree with him or not. Before we get into it, shout out to the Miami Heat, the only Eastern Conference team to not make a move because we're good enough to make the play-in. Let's go. That's all I got. So you ready to get into it?
Yes.
All right.
So I think it's pretty clear. First of all, I was completely underwhelmed. Yes,
Really?
major guys moved, but for various reasons, I'm going to tell you why along the way. I think the Cavs are the clear winner here. They were in a tough spot being in the second apron. They could only move Garland for a few players in the league. Uh, John Morant would have been one. Harden was the other. They upgrade at the position. They get better size. He's a better offensive player right now. Maybe not in 2 years, but for right now, this works. Now they also did great business getting Keon Ellis, who's although he's a little diminished this year, is a solid 3 and D guy on a very cheap contract. And Schroeder's an experienced backup guard. He's fine for what they want. They saved a lot of money, and the only real risk here is if Donovan Mitchell doesn't like playing alongside James Harden, then they may have jeopardized their entire project.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a winner. I would say I have to agree with you. I think they shoot up into the tier one of Eastern Conference teams with this move after, struggling a bit for the first half of the season. Um, they traded young for old, which is a move that typically don't like. However, I think Garland, just because he's young, he hasn't been the most durable. He also I mean, Harden is a horrid defender, but Garland is a really bad defender as well. Um, yeah, I think it all comes down to how Mitchell and Harden gel. But I think this trade deadline put them in win now for sure. I was a little questioning them getting rid of DeAndre Hunter, especially if you're in win now mode. I don't think you care as much about, like the second apron and whatnot. Um, but I think overall, I would say they're a winner. Um, I don't know if he's going to be on your loser list, but I think James Harden's a freaking loser. Like, just
Well,
it's separate of this deal. He wanted a 2-year extension,
yeah.
and the Clippers didn't want to give it to him, so he requested out. Buddy, in your last 19, you guys are 16-3 in sunny California. Everything is going right
Yeah.
for
This is
once.
definitely a
Thanks.
shock.
If he would have
It was a
requested a trade,
shock.
if he would have requested a trade 20 games into the season, sure, bro. Like, you guys suck. The
Yeah.
Clippers are poverty, but you guys are literally you were the best team in the NBA in all of January.
Yeah,
Literally.
it's a shocking turn of events. Uh,
Unbelievable. This guy just is a career loser.
yeah.
But Cavs, yeah, I think they win.
Well, they felt they could get off Hunter because Tyson's played so well for
Yes.
them.
Yeah, Tyson's been a revelation for them.
And Hunter's like a $25 million contract.
Yeah,
So
no, I mean the money I understand from the money perspective. Yeah.
yeah. Second winner.
Hmm.
This hurts. This hurts. Boston.
Yeah, 100%.
Boston had a huge hole going into the season. And while it's not a perfect fit, Vukovic is not a rim protector. He's a plus rebounder and he can stretch the floor. He's better than anything they had. They gave up virtually nothing, although Simons has played well for them. But he's an expiring contract. They weren't going to keep him. And if they get Tatum back, it's almost like they've completely won the whole trade deadline. So, yeah, I don't see how they could be anything other than a winner. And they saved hundreds of millions of dollars.
Trading guys that Josh Minot, Xavier Tillman, and Kristaps. Or no, they're not Kristaps. Who's the third? Kristaps was traded, but who's the?
Simons. Well, Simons was
Oh,
traded.
Simons. Yeah. So they traded those three guys, and they got clear of every tax.
Yeah.
And I think Vucevic is a good fit for them. You know, Cato was playing very well to the point that I thought they weren't even going to try to upgrade the center position. But I figured, I mean, we all knew going into the season it was unlikely that Simons was a Celtic the entire year.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think in terms of a money perspective, an upgrading at player perspective, and they're like what the three seed in the East right now, so they're scary. They're really scary. You know, it depends. Tatum comes back, changes everything. But yeah, I agree. Brad Stevens, masterclass.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Um, so I don't think you're going to agree with my next one. I don't think a lot of people will agree with my next one. Golden State. Hear me out. Porzingis is a perfect fit for that team if he's healthy. This is completely predicated on if he's healthy. But Kaminga is not healthy right now, and we don't know what he's going to be. Buddy Hield was a throw in. He's been surpassed by Melton and Moody and Podzemski. So they didn't give up anything to get a look at Porzingis. And if Porzingis does play, he doesn't fill the Butler role, but he gives them rim protection and stretches the floor, and he can play alongside Draymond. It's a in my mind, and Horford. In my mind, it's a roll of dice, go to the tables in Vegas. It costs you nothing. You got rid of a discontent in Kaminga, whether he's rightly or wrongly discontented, malcontented. Um, so I like it.
So here's my take on it. It's tough. I think they're neither a winner nor a loser because on one hand, yes, the Kuminga situation and drama that's been going on for it seems like 3 years is finally resolved.
Yeah.
However, the way Kuminga has been talked about in years past, he's this young asset that they're like has ton of value around the league. And to get the gimpiest player in the league,
Yeah. Well,
like Kristaps over under 10 games as a Warrior,
again,
he's an expiring contract as well, I
yeah,
believe.
it is. Yeah. He's 30
So, yes,
plus
if
million. Yeah.
I think the Warriors, if they don't re-sign Kristaps and that this opens up a ton of money and they make a big splash in free agency, then maybe. I think we got to look at this in the rear view. I think at this moment, I would have to disagree calling them a winner. I don't certainly don't think they're a loser because they get, you know, this guy, it's a locker room diva or whatever, his camp and Buddy Hield. They don't lose anything.
Right.
So, but I wouldn't consider them a winner flat out. But I hear where you come from.
Yeah. And four, I didn't really feel great about these guys either. OKC for two reasons. Okay. One, the hot term now is pre-agency. They got McCain and they got him they get a look at him for virtually nothing. At first, a late first round pick this year that they weren't going to pick anyway. They're going to get a stash pick or trade him um, because their roster is full and they're going to get a high draft pick, which is part two of the equation. They know they're about to be a very expensive roster. McCain's still on his rookie deal. They're probably going to lose an Isaiah Joe and or a Wiggins and or a Dort. And McCain could be a really cheap, nice pickup for them there. So good bit of business. And I don't fault the Sixers. He had fallen out of the rotation. It enabled them to sign Barlow and maybe Walker, potentially re-sign Grimes next year, and they get a 20 to 23, first round pick. Fine. But the second half of this is once the LA Clippers decided we really don't care about this season, cool. Then the Thunder now are in position to get a late lottery
Lottery.
pick.
Yeah. I love this move from the Thunder. I think McCain is a guy. There's another guy in the 2024 lottery that got traded this week. Uh, and completely different because I think McCain, the first like 30 games of his rookie year before he got injured, looked very promising. And then injury, VJ Edgecombe, Tyrese Maxey breakout. Eo's already a
Mhm.
star, but now a superstar.
Yeah.
And, he hasn't even played that many career games. So I understand Philly giving up on the kid, but I think the Thunder being able to take a chance on the kid because they're so deep. Like he's not going to play this year, but because they could just be like, yeah, we'll give this kid a shot. We give a late first round for a guy that was a lottery pick or a high first round pick
Yeah.
2 years ago. It's great business, I think. And they got Mason Plumlee at the deadline as well, but that's nothing. I don't. They got rid of Usman Jank.
Yeah. Okay.
But the main, yeah, I like the McCain trade a lot.
Yeah. My fifth winner is again a little controversial, and it's Memphis. They didn't get the job entirely done, and I was surprised they decided to move on from Triple J or Quadruple J or however many J's he is. But when you look at his numbers, he peaked 2 seasons ago when he was the depoy, and he's gone down. And the question is, why? Why have his shooting numbers gone down? Why have his defensive numbers worsened? He's still in his prime. Um, and to get back what they got for him was a really nice haul. They are one of the controllers of the draft for the next 7 years or so, along with OKC and Brooklyn, I believe. So I like what they did. I would have loved if they moved off Morant. I'm not sure how much better the market for Morant gets this summer. Uh, so yeah, I think this was a pretty good. We're tearing it down. We're going to build around Coward. We're going to build around Edie. We're going to build around Wells, right? As Wells, we're going to build around these guys, and we're going to get pretty nice draft picks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're a winner, but they could have been a mega winner if they moved off Ja. But I just saw a tweet. Brian Windhorst said Ja has negative value at the moment as an asset, which is crazy considering 3 years ago they were like a top four seed in the West, and he's their best player. It's crazy how like downhill his stock has gone. But yeah, I like this trade for Utah. I mean, for Memphis a lot. You take a chance on two first rounders, one that was literally just drafted in the first round. So,
Yeah.
and go Gators, baby. That's Walt. It's a Walt show now in Memphis. And you get rid of Jaren Jackson Jr., like you said, who's been on the decline. You start a full rebuild. I would have, from a Memphis point of view, I would have loved it if the picks were a little bit better because they're not like maybe Phoenix 2031. We have no idea,
Right.
but the other two are like going to be just like late firsts. So it
But
seems, but they
like you
get,
said, they get a preview of Clayton and Hendricks,
yeah,
and so why not?
yeah. So I mean, they get theoretically five first round picks if you count those two
Yeah.
uh, in this deal, which I like, and they don't really give up. I mean, yeah, Jaren Jackson, you can go. Sure, bro. Like you don't rebound. You're 6'11". You average 5 rebounds a game, bro. It's pathetic.
I had
Yeah.
two. They're not full winners. Washington, I like that they took a chance, but their entire somebody said Bobby Marks said he's guaranteeing they're going to be top six next year, and I said, what makes Washington a healthier destination than any other place in the world for AD? I saw the injury where he got his hand injured, and literally, I bang my hand like that every day on furniture. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And you have two divergent timelines there. You're gonna have to pair Sar with AD. I don't love it, but they got him for absolutely nothing. So well done. And the Lakers, they didn't solve their defensive problem. Their defensive problem is glaring, but they did add a shooter, which they needed. So well done. Yay.
All right, time for the big losers.
Did you have a winner?
No, I think you covered it. We're talking about all the big ones, so I'm ready to get right into the losers.
Let's do it.
This is what I live for, hating.
Biggest loser of all are, I can't even call them a brain trust. The people that make the decisions in Chicago.
Yes, thank you. I'm so glad you said. What the are they doing? What are
Mike
they doing?
Mike Malone starts the segment off where, on NBA Today and says, "My man, AK." Every single expert around the panel, including Malika, went, "WTF? They they're worse. They don't have anybody to build around it unless you consider Buzelis. And he's a nice player, but I don't know that he's a build your whole team around him. Uh and they can't tank enough to get a really high draft pick. And they're setting themselves up for next year in the draft, and it's not a good draft.
Yeah,
My head hurts.
so I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna tell you the players they've acquired this deadline, right? And you tell me what they have in common. Jaden Ivey, Mike Conley,
Yep.
Anthony Simons, Colin Sexton, Rob Dillingham.
They're
You
all
got
under 6'4".
yeah,
And
and they got five of them.
Conley's gone already. I
What
think I think he got waived.
was Mike on the move? I didn't see that move yet.
Well, I think they're going to
Uh,
buy him out so he can go
yeah,
back to Minnesota.
he's currently on the Bulls.
He can go back to Minnesota. And then somebody compared Kobe White and his nearest
Oh, he got cut. He got cut. Yeah, yeah.
Kobe White's nearest comparator is Colin Sexton.
No, Kobe White has been a past few years has been a good NBA player.
I'm just going with the stats.
The most atrocious move to me was the Ao Dosunmu for Rob Dillingham. And I
Oh,
referenced Rob in the Jared McCain segment.
yeah.
First of all, Ao Dosunmu
Solid
having a
player.
breakout season
Yep.
from Chicago.
Yep.
And you trade for a guy that's 6'1", 160, who is awful. I have no idea why he went eighth overall, but he did.
Yeah.
And he's awful. Like I was watching, what game was I watching? Oh man, I forgot what game I was watching, but I think Wolves Thunder, like 2 weeks ago. They put the game, Wolves are up 20. They put Rob in the game, right? And this, in my mind, if I'm an NBA player on the end of the bench that wants to play, because some guys are content being a bench warmer. Great job. Front rows, courtside seats, you get paid $1 million. But if you're an eighth overall pick in your second year, you want to play, right?
Right.
I kid you not, it was probably the worst 2 minute stint I've ever seen. Like it was like three turnovers, one horrible missed shot, like one like just ball stoppage. He caught the ball, didn't swing it, like he sucks. And he's so small and undersized, and they gave away like their third best player for four second round picks.
Yeah. Well, I think once it all shook out, I think Dosunmu was their second best player. But yeah, we could argue that.
I don't
I
like
almost
who are they building around Simons? Like I don't get it. I
no,
don't
he
get them.
he's on an expiring contract.
So what they I just saw a headline when I looked up Chicago Bulls so I get all their deals because they made a lot. And the article was like Bulls aim to leave NBA's middle, like purgatory, after the trade deadline. In which direction, bro?
Yeah. Well, they've been there, so they're very comfortable there. Change is
Because you don't got the first for this year to get a star.
no. Change is hard. It really is, especially for those.
Dude, Dosunmu this year is averaging 15 points a game, 3.5 assists, shooting 45 from three on over four attempts a game.
I almost put Minnesota in the winners, um, but they won that
Mm,
trade for sure.
yeah, but I will say, Dang, so they made two deals with Minnesota. Like why don't they just
What?
well, the the Mike Conley trade.
Yeah, well,
How did Mike Conley get there?
the funny thing is Conley was traded to another team and then traded to the Bulls,
Oh,
which
okay, because
means
I'm wondering how they got there.
he can now be re-signed by Minnesota.
Where did Herter end up?
Herter went to Detroit.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if that's in your loser or winner. I don't love that move for them. But I will say the one positive thing from the Bulls, the Vucevic being in every trade talk, finally, we don't have to hear about it anymore.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
like Miles Turner the past 4 years. Like everyone's like, when are we moving off Vooch? When are we moving off Vooch? Okay, finally, don't gotta hear about it anymore.
but I mean they didn't get anything for him,
Oh
which
no, yeah, but it just like
uh,
I don't have to hear Bulls fans complain anymore. All right, next
yeah.
loser.
Um, again, this is pretty controversial. It's Milwaukee, and it's solely because they didn't pull the trigger on the Giannis trade. I understand. I get it. There will be more teams this summer that can offer more picks. Maybe they're clear their decks a little bit and they can offer somebody else. I don't know. But and there are going to be teams like Detroit, Houston, San Antonio. They're all saying, "Look, we have a young core. Let's see how we do in the playoffs. And if we really tank, we'll go out and get Giannis." So maybe that's what they're thinking. But part of it is Atlanta owns the better of Milwaukee's pick or the Pelicans. So it doesn't really matter who finishes worse. It goes to Atlanta. And yes, I there is some thought that, well, Milwaukee wants to see where they shake out in the lottery. If they get the one, then maybe they can say to Giannis, hey, we got the Bonsa or Peterson. How's that look? Okay. I don't think Giannis has done himself any favors here. He should have been explicit and said, I want to go. Okay.
I don't think he necessarily definitely does, bro. He's been there for so long. It's like this I think the Bucks are the losers, not for not trading Giannis, but they're just freaking losers, period, for what they did. Like you have a top three player in the world. He's been top three for 7 years now.
Yeah.
Like you can't have stretches where you're not competing.
Yeah.
You absolutely cannot have 2, 3 year periods where you are not listed among the contenders. You cannot. I'm in awe of what they're wasting, right? Like this man, he's the best two-way player in the league.
Yeah.
At points, you can argue he's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them necessarily because yeah, and also because how are you going to get a call that fills Giannis's void? And I also pause, by the way, pause. Um,
Don't think Giannis has a void.
but it's like no matter what you trade for Giannis, I think in my opinion it's going to be unless you get 10 first round picks and like a great player, like it's going to be a loss because it's just trading away the star. You know, they always say the winner of the trade is the guy who gets the
Yeah,
star.
sure. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess you really want to be particular about what package you receive, but
Oh, you're talking about packages and voids in the same sentence. I just I think they should have pulled the trigger, ripped the band-aid off, sort of like Dallas did with trading AD.
I thought you were gonna say Luca. Like, do not do what Dallas did
No,
with
no, no,
Luca.
no, 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 no. Milwaukee can't build a championship roster. They don't have the assets. They don't have the young players. You need to restock that cabinet. You don't have a draft pick other than this year, which you don't totally control until like the 30s. So, I, okay, maybe. I mean, New York isn't going to sweeten its offer over the summer because they just get one more pick they can trade, which would be the only pick they could trade. You know, LA is going to have all that room, but they don't have enough young assets or picks to trade. So it's sort of like the market isn't going to be that different. It's going to be Miami knocking at the door. It's going to be maybe one of those young teams I mentioned saying, okay, all right, we're ready now. We'll give you Dylan Harper or some crazy thing like that. I don't know. Um, my third loser is going to be um, controversial.
Hmm.
It's the Pacers.
Okay.
First, Zubac is a is a hell of a player, but he's not an ideal fit in that lineup. He doesn't stretch the floor. He clogs the lane for Siakam and some of their other drivers. Um, and he's not a powerhouse offensive player. Miles Turner is a much better offensive player than he is. So, yes, they needed a center. They got a center. Here's the downside. They were going to lose, but they were probably going to lose Mathurin anyway. I'm not sure they value Mathurin. Fine. LA has a window here that if the pick falls between 5 and 9,
9.
they get it. And you're talking a Caleb Wilson and Mikael Brown, one of those elite picks. So why not roll the dice? Um, you know, yeah, I would have liked to seen somehow to get that other protection waived and they get, anything after 4. But okay, fine. It's a gamble. If Indiana comes up and loses that gamble, then they don't have a lot of stuff to stock around, Halliburton. We also don't know, you know, Achilles are tricky. We don't know how good any of these guys coming back are going to be. So I just think they probably should have waited and not even risked that pick because probably not Caleb Wilson, but a young guard like that to pair with Halliburton uh, would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. They're probably a loser here, giving away the two first. And also, so on one hand, their center position is so trash, so I understand Zubac fills that need for them.
Yeah,
And I also view Benedict Mathurin as kind of their version of Jaden Ivey, where
yeah,
like a talented like slasher
yeah.
swingman guard that like you really had no future there. So I understand moving off him, similar contract situation with Ivy. But it's just like if you guys are full on tanking Indiana, why try to even get a center? You know?
Well, I wanted to go back for a second to the Milwaukee. Um, Either they're going to have a very hard conversation with Giannis about how he should really get that operation he's always wanted on his non-shooting elbow, or John Horst is going to have to take a sledgehammer to a couple toes because just like Indiana, just like Utah, just like Washington, they're going to have to be very creative in their injury reports. I
Yeah.
saw some guy was out the other night for dental pain. Now, dental pain's the worst, but come on. You're the NBA doesn't want to support tanking. You're not going to have a choice.
Yeah,
You
well, there's going to be tons of guys. AD's not going to play. Trey's not going to play. Jaren's not going to play. Giannis isn't going to play.
know,
So yeah, they got to get creative. But I just don't understand the trading for like filling a need and trading for a better player. Like they got Zubac, he's a better player than Mathurin
yeah,
and
yeah,
Isaiah Jackson. But you're tanking. Just embrace the tank.
yeah. And I just
Don't give away your first round pick.
yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's scary. God, if they come up fifth, wow. Clippers rebuild. full on. Um, Four is pretty obvious. It's Dallas. But this dates back to,
Dates back. Yep, yeah, yep.
I mean, it's the worst trade in sports. Um, you could only maybe equate it with Minnesota trading, 10 first rounders for Herschel Walker or some obscene number. That's a different sport. Um, but you trade AD and you get awful draft compensation. Couldn't you have gotten a Cam Whitmore or a Bub Carrington as part of the deal?
Any young promising talent besides AJ Johnson, who's on his third team in a year and a half in his career.
Yeah.
Impressive work from impressive work from the young man. Yeah, they get OKC's first round pick, by the way. I'm
Yeah,
sure that'll be very good. I'm sure
it's
that'll
going
be
to be
very good.
29 or 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah. I mean, it really dates back to you got to think about it. They gave up Luca for Max Christie and Chris Middleton, basically.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you gotta
Yeah.
and then you also have to realize Nico, obviously he didn't make this deal, but this was a win now deal. You had 0 games of AD, Kyrie, and Coop. 0 games, which is
Right.
also a lose from Dallas. Like, at least let them play 1 game together. They got 0 games.
I mean, I'll give them credit. They ripped that bandage right off and didn't worry about the hair they ripped with it.
Yeah, but they got nothing for AD. Yeah, I understand he's super injury prone, but bro, this is still, when healthy, a very, very, very good player.
And the other thing is, if you're truly building around Flack, right? Why not try to move a guy at the edges like a Gafford? You don't think LA would have given you a couple seconds or some Dalton Connect for Gafford or, a PJ Washington, a guy who's not going to be there when, by the way, Jamal Mashburn said that if Flag were in this year's draft class, he would go sixth.
Yeah, we don't even got to talk. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. He might go one. He
Was
probably would
Mashburn the
go
guy who
one.
boxed? Did he box?
No, but he might have CTE. All right, besides Mashburn, who's the fifth loser?
Well, it's a tie.
All right.
It's the Heat Kings, Kings of Heat. Look, we
Uh,
talked earlier, maybe privately, but the Kings are in a desperate, desperate spot. They have to burn it down, and they can't really trade DeRozan or Levine. You could have moved Sabonis. You chose to move your cheapest guy, Keon Ellis, for a $25 million luxury in DeAndre Hunter. I mean, Perry was not a successful executive in New York. I'm not sure why he's gotten this second chance, but okay. And then the Heat. I mean, okay, you didn't get Giannis, but why not take a swing on you, Ja Morant? Have we will trade you Terry Rozier's contract, maybe Jovic, give us Ja Morant and a pick, a first round pick.
there were reports about, let me try to find exactly the deal that Miami turned down um
Morant.
for Morant. Let me try to find it. Okay, the Grizzlies asking price for Ja to Miami was come on, man. Jaime Jaquez or Kel'el Ware, Terry Rozier contract first round pick
Jaime
per
Jaquez.
Greg Sylvander. So
Okay.
this was so I mean, I would low-key do that. Give him
I wouldn't
Hyman.
give him where.
No, I'd give him Hyman, Terry, and a first for Ja.
No, I wouldn't give him the first. I think compensation has to come back the other way. Um, I think Morant is such a potentially toxic, um, asset. Uh,
Yeah, but then we
but
get Giannis in
still,
the summer. We have Ja Bam and Giannis, and we're the freaking favorites.
do something.
Yeah, I hate this thing. Pat Riley was like talking trash earlier. He's like, I'm like a fisherman when I got my eye on my fish, and I got Andy with his harpoon behind him. We're gonna catch our big whale. What was the big whale? We haven't made a positive or like a real
Well, Norman
move.
Powell.
Yeah, okay, that was a great trade. The Clippers are the biggest losers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Just that, like, what did they get for Powell? Like nothing. Kevin Love.
They got Kevin Love, the stolen memorabilia. We recovered it and, and sold it to them. Like, yeah,
Yeah, but no, yeah. The Heat. They think every year that they're good enough to compete, and they don't. They don't. They're not. They don't trade picks. They don't. They don't trade young players. I mean,
yeah,
it's like, bro. There's so much, man. Like
yeah.
that 2023 finals run from the 8 seed turned out to be like worse for the future of the program
Yeah,
because it's like they believe they no matter where they are in the playoffs they can compete, and they
yeah.
believe that certain guys were worth holding on to, and it's just like,
Well, I would like to know. I would like the curtain peeled back to see what teams have turned down Tyler Hero.
yeah. I also would like to see what deals were blown up because they don't want to get rid of Jaime Jaquez or Jovic.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jaquez, I like Ware, but
Not enough for.
guys, at some point, you have to take a risk.
Yeah,
And
and if I see Bam shoot a freaking short roll floater one more time,
yeah,
I might just become a fan of, I don't know, the
Boston.
Grizzlies. No, whoa, 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 whoa. Don't you ever say it again. Grizzlies, Walter Clayton. Here we go. 20 points
I,
a game. 20
I think
points a game, tank commander. That's what we want.
I think we should be sentenced to be Chicago Bulls fans.
Oh, that's even worse. That's even worse. They have had less success recently, and they're in a worse spot. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please drop in the comments down below. Did you agree with our winners? Did you agree with our losers? And who did we miss? There were tons of trades this trade deadline, some big, some small, but no too little for amateurs to talk about. Psych, we didn't talk about half of them.
Yeah.
Let me stop getting out of hand here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.